Everybody, welcome back. This time we're going to talk a little bit about Skyline Caverns. I absolutely love exploring these different caves and stuff, and just there's always something I learn and stuff every time, some little phenomena. So we're going to learn about what Skyline, like the little secrets that Skyline Caverns has in store for us today. Tour starts off in a little open area, and they actually put like a fireplace in there when like they first had discovered it, and they had some fake lights, and you could also see like the water damage and stuff where the water's run because this, like many caves, was formed from water pressuring over the years. The thing that was different about the founding of this one, a lot of caves, like somebody just sees like a hole in the ground and they just kind of follow it in. In this instance, they were exploring around where they were doing Shenandoah National Park, and they were looking for caves in the area, and they found an indentation, and then they started exfiltrating a lot of dirt by the indentation, and they found like this cave-like structure. And it's hard to even imagine like the scale of of how much dirt they must have exported, because I mean this is like a huge cavern, and I guess they had, from what they said, they had to basically like pull it out bucket by bucket and stuff at first to just kind of see if it was even a cavern. It has multiple levels. They keep the public at the top few levels because there gets to be a lot of water and runoff and stuff in the bottom levels. So it can get kind of dangerous in the bottom levels, but it's still really, it's a pretty cavern. I mean, I've seen some other ones that are a little bit more glittery, but this one has something that I never would have, I didn't even know existed before I visited this cavern. So, and I love that about things like this where you just see something along the road and when you're driving by and you're like, hey, let me just take an hour and go explore, because then you get to learn things, and it's like learning is just, it's just so awesome to just continually to learn and grow. So we go about the cave tour, and like I mean everything seems kind of like okay, it's all the rock work, which is kind of cool, and the pathways and everything like normal things. It didn't have a lot of the normal formations and stuff. It had a few here and there, but this behind this door is kind of one of those like really amazing things that you don't even know that you're gonna see. And it turned out that when they were excavating the cave, this one section had a lot of pressure built up, and they really had to fight and fight and fight and fight to get the dirt out of this one area. And it turned out that it was kind of like vacuum sealed. And as a result of the vacuum seal, it formed these really unique formations that like this doesn't exist like almost anywhere in the world. It's very few and far between the caves that have them, because the only way that these formations even form is if there's a vacuum sealed area. And as soon as they opened that door, all the stuff died. Like it didn't disappear, but it no longer grows, and it kind of died as soon as they opened that door, because now this whole room isn't vacuum sealed. And it took them a long time to figure out that like the vacuum seal and the pressure and stuff was what was helping those formations grow. It's hard to imagine too, because well, this is like a lot of years later. When they first got in here, there was no door, right? It was just like one section of the cave that was just giving them trouble, and they couldn't figure out why. And all throughout the cave, they did a lot of light shows and stuff, which it was really kind of cool. Like you can see here, like they're just flipping between the different colors and showing you how the different formations absorb light in different ways, and how they reflect back a little bit in certain light waves. We're also able to show you the stages of the formation of the originals of these formations, where it kind of started as like a little tiny little like white dusty kind of thing on the top, and then it like little by little formed, and it formed, it got thicker and thicker and thicker, and that all happened over like a lot of years. It wasn't obviously like a rapid growth. I think that's one of the things that impresses me most with the caves too, is just that the stuff that you're looking at in like our lifetimes and stuff, like it's barely like changed, but over like all the thousands of years, it completely has evolved, and it's just I just love like the history and stuff of the caves, and just how much things are stay the same, but yet they still change. And this cave also had some cool water features and stuff too. Sometimes, like, it's kind of hit or miss. Like, sometimes like, the rivers and stuff are way, way below. This had some really cool ponds, and they even had fish and stuff in one of them. The other thing that they also kind of talked about was that they had some unique bugs and creatures that were only found here, and people came to study them, and then by studying them, they ended up killing them off. They never found any more after the day that they studied them. So it just kind of points out just how fragile these ecosystems can be, and just the slightest little introduction of anything or the slightest little change can disrupt the natural balance of these, like, the delicate ecosystems. The green is actually an example of contaminants and stuff. It's not stuff that would grow normally, and by like having the lights and having people down through, things get introduced to the cave and then they start growing where they wouldn't have been growing when the cave was first discovered. And it's another example of us coming through and interfering with that fragile ecosystem. This is also yet another example. They always tell you to be very careful of the walls and to not touch anything in a cave. And in this one rock, it was touched a lot, because they were gonna try to move it, and it's also a lot. It's in the middle of the pathways, and people touch it a lot, and you could just see how shiny and stuff it's become. So it might not be like just you touching it individually one time, but the cumulative effect really completely changes things overall.
So this particular column is estimated to be over 12,000 years.
So if you're traveling along and you find some place that just kind of looks interesting, go for it. Stop and see. You never know what you might learn. I really actually enjoyed this one. This was actually quite a surprise, and I was really amazed at the things that I learned from it.